Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing the not too long ago movie called Fear PHarm.
Yeah, this is a double header,
Yes.
isn't it?
It is, Mike. And it's done by the same director for both, I think. Yes, roughly.
Ah.
So it's, I guess, another independent film where it takes place in a maze, and this is the real maze somewhere in, let me see, where is it? It's somewhere in...
Somewhere
at the, let me see, the film location is this cool pumpkin patch in Dixie, California. And,
well, there you go then.
And it's a real, corn maze, like this, like a little bit like when we did the houses of Octoberville.
It's actually Dixon, California, not Dixon. Dixie.
Anyway, as I was saying, it's another real maze that takes place in America, and I guess that they're getting a lot of promotion with thanks to these two movies when you think about it, which is a good thing actually when you think about it. And let me see, we have in both movies we have a reoccurring character for both of them, where she's a final girl. Let's see, her name is what's her name, Mike? I don't know the name of the actor.
I think it's Tiana Tuttle.
Tiana Tuttle.
She plays Melanie.
Yes, she becomes the sort of final girl in this production. I can't really identify whether she's a final girl because throughout she fights, she kicks butt here and there, but way to the end, she doesn't exactly get away from these crazed psychos. Don't mind me, I didn't write the script.
That's okay. It's one of those, I'd say one. It's two of those movies because we're doing 1 and 2. We're doing Fear PHarm 1, which is 2020, and Fear PHarm 2, which is 2022. I heard a rumour that they're going to do a Fear PHarm 3, but I think everyone's dead, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, considering that I won't go into details just yet, but the story does leave you wondering, not wondering what happens next. It just leaves you wondering whether or not will these people get away with it. I don't know. Anyway, for a while I thought this would be another Chainsaw Massacre, type of movie, but it does have a few. It has a certain look to it. It makes me think of Chainsaw Massacre or 1,000 Corpses in the that movie that Rob Zombie made. It just makes me think of that because it has that feel of, you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're away from home, and you're in a place that you shouldn't be in.
Yeah, whatever.
Stuff like that. And then you have these crazed killers chasing after you all through the movie.
Somewhat.
Anyway, Mike, who directs, writes, and produces and stars in this, aside from Melanie?
Well, funny you should ask that. I normally go on to Wikipedia and that sort of place because they set things up a bit easier. So I've had to go into IMDb this time, and man, they got every man and his dog they put in here. So, excuse me as I bring this down just a little bit. The two main producers, I believe, are Mark Allen and Howard Bird. They did both movies. Mm-hmm. Okay? All right.
Right.
Both movies were directed by Dante Yore, Y-O-R-E. Now, first movie is written by Mark Allen, Howard Bird, and Dante Yore, surprisingly. How about that?
Surprise.
And guess who did the other one?
Okay, good.
Mark Allen, Howard Bird, and Dante Yore. So, they're the main moves and shakers for this horror slasher.
Most of the time, as I've said this before to guys, sometimes they would bring out new writers to write the sequels or prequels and stuff like that. But most of the time, they bring back the original writer to make sure it has that same feeling to the story.
See, I like it when the writer is also the director, because if he's been part of the writing team, he's got a rough idea in his head what it's going to look like even before he starts doing the directing part. So hopefully, in many cases, you would get a reasonably good product. Yes, there you go. I think I covered that quite nicely.
Yeah.
Now, I got a list of people here, and then again, they put every man and his dog in this. So I'm going to do what I think are the main ones. John Littlefield, he plays the naughty antagonist in both movies. Him and he's head of the family. He's John Littlefield plays Herschel. He has our leading lady, as Sarah mentioned for us, Tiana Tuttle. She plays Melanie. Now Amy Stolte, Stolte, plays Gemma. That's Herschel's rather deranged daughter who has a medical degree and she's also very good at archery. We won't go into that at the moment. We're going through the first movie at the moment anyway, so some of these people won't be in the second movie. No. Emily Sweet plays Wendy. I think she's one of the nice people who gets killed by the other people. Chris Leary plays Rustin. He definitely gets killed or chewed up or whatever. Houston Stephenson, he's Brandon. He's also one of the other kiddies, I think. Mario Rocca, he plays Andy. Andy, one of them? There's about half a dozen of them, so yeah. Anyway, I won't mention the other people, okay? Because I'm not being weird or anything. I don't know I can't remember all the names. It's really hard to identify them.
I do think the twist ending is something to be desired, which is kind of great.
Now, going back to the second movie, we've got John Littlefield is in there again. Amy Stolte, Tiana Tuttle, Mario Rocca, he's in there again. Now, I've got some other people. Taylor Lewis is playing Brooklyn. Brittany Bardwell plays Emma. Jessica Chancellor plays Morgan. Megan Carasquillo, I think it is. Carasquillo plays Stacey. Mason Greer plays Dawson. And a girl called Julia Small plays Ashlyn. I think they're the main ones, so I won't mention any other people. That's movie 1 and 2. Now, Sarah, I hope, will actually run the two stories together quite nice because they actually follow on. The one is actually, let's say, the first movie, obviously, and the second movie is. Would you say it follows on, but a bit of a prequel in there, referring back to before
flashbacks
everything?
Why these people are killing
it fills in a few gaps in the first
victims
movie.
Killing people in the maze.
So they do go hand in hand. That's why we're doing both together.
Yes. So I might as well get started.
Do you want to get started telling the story?
Yes. As it turns out, it's an interesting one. So we begin with let me see what happens. Oh yeah, these kids, Melanie and Wendy and Rusty and Brandon, they hear about this maze and it's an interesting maze and stuff like that, and they think that they should go see it. Of course, Wendy is she's dressed for.
She's a cheerleader.
She dresses like a cheerleader, not necessarily a cheerleader, but she
didn't she come from cheerleader training or practice or something or other?
Doesn't say she was a cheerleader though.
Was she dressed in some sort of athletic type gear?
Yeah. Anyway, she was doing it to impress her boyfriend and increase his
get his juices flowing.
Get his juices flowing. But unfortunately, Rusty and Melanie appear and tell him, "Guess what? We're going down to California to check out this maze.
And come as you are." And she's dressed in this little athletic uniform.
And she makes me think of those interesting 80s movies where you see people dressed as what they're supposed to be. And in her case, she's a dumb blonde.
Oh, she wasn't that dumb.
Yes. Anyway, they drive, and soon enough they arrive at the maze. It's in a cornfield. Surprise, surprise.
Children of the corn. No.
And they get their stamps on their hand, and as they're getting the stamps scanned, one of the guys says to Melanie, "Guess what? You are a 100 customer."
No, it's not 10,000 or
okay,
or
10,000 customer, and therefore you are going to be allowed to take part in this special private maze, which if you win, you get say
$70,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
lovely.
They're taken in a special truck by the owner
and takes down the other side of the farm property, away from everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And
her and her friends, obviously.
Yeah, they do a bit of a. Before they get to the actual part of the maze, they do get to shoot actors playing zombies,
Yeah, they do
using
pretending.
paintball guns.
Paintball guns and stuff, yeah.
I'm not sure.
So they get a full sense of security happening here.
Yeah, and they soon arrive there, and the guy says, all you have to do is get through this maze in 2 hours or more than 2 hours.
No, within 2 hours, you get there and you get the money. Yep.
Yeah, and they said, oh, this is a guarantee because we had one girl who did this maze, and she got the money, and she's really happy about it.
Yay.
But we don't know the identity of this girl. So
but he's also lying, probably.
Yeah, so the kids decide, in the stupidity sense, to split up in order to get to the other end and in order to get the money.
Yippee!
Which it's a bit weird because in every single movie, everyone tries to split up and they end up being slashed to pieces.
Exactly.
It's an ongoing thing.
Well, safety in numbers, guys. Hello. So if you go to this creepy old maze to someone's cornfield, hello.
The man doesn't object if they stay together, stay in groups, maybe twos. There's not a big issue.
Well, there you go. Well,
Anyway, I should mention, he had a meeting with his family. Some of these people, they also have workers working for them, but they don't know anything next to nothing.
Yeah, they're kept in the black, in the dark. Yeah.
But these other people, they're really where the really creepy masks, like some of them come off like looking like they're Leatherface or something out of Michael Myers or
one had somebody left a mask on a barbed wire wrapped around his head. Looked really good.
Yeah,
but,
one of them wore clown makeup, making me think of Sid from 1000 Corpses in his clown costume, which creeps me out.
Okay, very nice.
And of course, there's one little guy who's I think he's disabled, but he's still.
He's a nice guy. He's a bit slow.
Simple.
Yeah, a bit simple. Yeah.
Anyway, his oldest daughter, who's what's her name again?
Gemma.
Gemma is the pump one who's got the medical degree and stuff like that.
And she's also a very good archer.
Yes. Anyway, we get to the maze. This is a very long sequence because it's so boring. Tell me about it.
What?
Well, it's mostly a few jump scares, not really serious jump scares. It's mostly actors who just wear randomly masks.
Yeah, some ordinary people in there just doing the ordinary stuff you'd expect in an ordinary maze.
Silly masks like if you not serious, scary masks like that. Just some stupid stuff. But eventually, some of them do encounter the
real guys,
the naughty guys. Even Rusty says to him, "Oh, you have this awesome mask. I think you got something going there." But he just thinks, "Oh, you're just walking around. No, this is bullshit."
Rusty fancies himself to be an actor. He's been in a commercial. Yeah,
he sees himself as a future influencer, but lacks the audience.
Is he acting in an advert or something or other, or
something like that.
He thinks himself really high and mighty, fantastic.
And he tries to make himself well known by being an influencer, but it's not getting him enough audience members. To be honest. Anyway, so they go. We watch them interact with the actors and the props. Some silly stuff like clowns that are attached to strings popping out at you. Not really something serious, to be honest.
Nah.
And soon enough, our Brandon, he encounters the owner's daughter, and they act all sweet and innocent. And she says, "Do you want to get on and stuff?" Trying to act flirty and stuff.
Flirty, yeah.
But unfortunately, she then has I think she ends up.
She said no, so she couldn't get her jollies. So she got really pissed off, didn't she?
Yes.
So she killed him.
Yeah, she ends up stabbing him in the. Someone stabs him in the leg. And he gets dragged away, and we find out his fate that he gets skinned.
Slowly. Actually, what we'll do, we'll have to.
Lane, what?
Do you explain it now why they're doing it?
Okay. Well, no, I think I'll wait until the end of this episode.
Okay.
It's much more important.
They threaten to skin him and say one thing, and they're going to skin him. But we don't hear anything more about it because we go back to the other people. Yeah.
And his friend Rusty, he gets, he meets up with some more of those actor jollies, and he gets, I think he gets stabbed. He gets his arm chopped off.
Oh yes, very nice, very good effect.
Yeah.
Squirt, squirt, squirt. Very nice.
Of course, Melanie finds him, and she pleads with his his body, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not quite dead yet," type of way.
Well, he should be.
But soon enough, he gets run over, and then Melanie looks like she's ready to beat these guys at their own game. But anyway, meanwhile, her friend Wendy, she encounters the clowns, and they, I guess, attack her after rejecting them of any sweets.
Clowns.
Anyway, eventually, Melanie and Wendy, they get caught by these so-called guys, and then Wendy gets, killed, and then we get the explanation that for the audience members at home of why these guys are doing this. They turned out to be looking for skin samples to use in a special cream that could make you youthful and stuff like that.
Okay. Can I go backward and actually fill in a few gaps here?
Yes, go for it, Mike.
Okay. The guy, the dad, his wife, who's no longer alive,
sadly,
was a pharmacist or a scientist or something.
Yeah.
He was trying to develop some sort of skin cream which would slow or retard and or reverse the aging process on skin.
So.
And when she died in the process, however, the family kept on the business.
Yeah.
Now, this we're getting, not everybody has the same DNA and stuff, but some people had this thing in their body which they're trying to harvest. Hence, let's take the skin off some individuals, but not others.
Yeah, because
they can extract the chemical or whatever, the gene or whatever is out there, and put it in this face cream or skin cream.
Melanie was selected
because she had a really, really, really super duper one.
Wendy, Rusty, and Brandon, they were naturally killed off, but Brandon was one of them who got skinned, but we didn't even figure out whether or not he had the gene.
He had a little bit. And the others didn't have any, so they were expendable.
Yes. Anyway, wanting to not want to be part of their experiment, Melanie takes a scalpel that was on the table and cuts her throat.
Yeah,
and we
very
think
nice.
That's the end of it. But then the next day, or maybe not the next day, we see Brandon's mum, who's walking around with missing posters of her missing son, and she meets up with the said
Herschel
owner
and Gemma, who were at a fair or something.
Yeah, and they offer her free of charge a cream sample.
Yeah, to put on her skin.
And she enjoys it, not realizing it's her son she's putting on there.
The son, there he was, he's in the jar. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, we then cut to a post-credit scene where we find out Melanie's not dead. It turns out she just cuts her vocal cords, the things that make you talk.
Well, she cut through the skin, probably cut an artery or something, or a vein or something, but didn't do enough damage. And the lady who was Gemma, she's also knew about doctoring and stuff. She went to university. She fixed her up. However, her vocal cords had been damaged by the scalpel.
See, she can no longer talk, and now she's still useful to them and
because
all that stuff.
She had a better skin.
Oh, I should mention, guys, there was a bit of a joke in one of the scenes where one of the guys, one of the family members, who was wearing a mask, he commented on how Melanie was a lesbian. And even Gemma in this scene, one of the scenes says, I detest that. Just because she's strong, independent woman does not mean she's a lesbian. And I have said this in the past, guys. Just because you wear a leather jacket does not make you a lesbian.
And not every male ballet dancer is gay. Right.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. People keep judging a person by their appearance or what they wear, what stereotype you are.
Exactly.
And it annoys me to hell that this is an ongoing thing that continues, and it doesn't do.
It's not fair.
It's not fair, and it makes my life a living hell. Because I am a
strong, independent female.
I'm a strong feminist, and I like dressing because I like to dress in different kinds of colours, and I don't. And with thanks to these movies, they judge people by their stereotype dress, and I can't stand that.
Anyway, can we move on? Can you get off your soapbox now?
Yes, so we move on to the sequel. Their cream is a success. As it turns out, they find some more victims. And they get
lots of orders. They're getting from all overseas and stuff. They need to make lots and lots of stuff. Yeah.
And before you ask me, Melanie does not become the only victim. There's actually a few more they found that had the same skin, whatever. Oh, I should mention, at the beginning of this movie, there's a flashback to the past where the owner's wife, who was doing this on the side and didn't tell her husband yet, but she told him about how she found the sort of...
The thing that's looking for in skin, and the only way to get it is to kill people and get it.
Yeah.
And she talked her husband, Herschel, who might have been a very good man in the beginning, to...
use the mazes to
help
attract new customers and in order to find victims.
So his wife could harvest their skin and possibly end up killing them and have to get new people in. Whatever.
Yeah, in this movie, it has flashbacks to the family's past, like how Gemma, the young girl in the group, is close to her father, and her father wants to make sure that they continue having a strong, continue their work, but at the same time try not to take too many risks.
Exactly.
They
also taught her how to use a bow and arrow, or what do you call it?
Bow and arrow will be a flight
bow and arrow, It's very good archery.
That's what it is. Anyway, meanwhile, Melanie is still alive, along with some other slash victims who were...
And they were tied up or something, or chained up.
They were tied up. They're given drugs, sedatives, and special...
they're on a drip or something.
A drip that allows them to be fed, but at the same time still...
And
sedated.
Yeah.
And you see when on their bodies strips of skin on their thighs and chest and maybe on their arms.
Where they take the dermis off.
Yeah.
The skin top layer, and to harvest the cells. And they made a comment earlier, I think the first movie or the beginning of this movie, it takes about 2 weeks for the cells to generate. So they can just keep, if they don't kill anybody, they can just keep reharvesting and reharvesting.
Very nice. All they have to do is wait a couple of days or weeks to...
2 weeks, they said.
2 weeks until the skin grows back to...
And they can
have to
shave
do it
off again. That'd be so painful.
Yeah, but they're organised, which is interesting.
It's good to see good family business.
Yeah. Anyway, while one of them was looking after the people that are inside the barn, they're in the barn. I saw a barn, I think. I'm not sure.
It looked like it was a stable.
Yeah.
For horses. They're using the bays for the stalls for the people to be lying in like a hospital ward. Nice.
Yeah, Melanie somehow, after her drip thing and the drug thing was taken out of her wrist, she wakes up and she then starts going from stall to stall to stall.
And unplugging the other people from their drips.
Of course, some of them they are shocked that they're there and they see that the cuts on their bellies are eek. But she tells them to. Well, no, she can't talk.
She can't.
I forgot.
So she puts her finger in her mouth and goes, "Shh, don't say anything."
Of course, as they do find some, I guess, merchandise T-shirts to cover up.
I survived the maze.
Like that.
Well, maybe.
Anyway, they then get told by Melanie that they're still inside the maze, even though some of them are stupid as hell. Some of the characters in this production are still brainless women, girls.
A bunch of... they need the dumb ones to make it interesting. Oh, no, I'm going to run the door. But we're in the middle of a maze. No, you won't find your way out.
Oh, I should mention earlier, before this happens, one of their... subjects runs out of their thing, and he gets he goes through the maze. He frightens a few of the customers, making out that he is just one of the many people who are just working there. But eventually he gets caught up by Jem, and he gets shot in a few arrows into his waste, obviously. I don't know. I mean,
whatever.
He just gets caught up and he dies.
Yeah, he gets caught. He's expendable,
Anyway, now that the rest of the subjects are ending up trying to get out, escaping, it takes the owner and his daughter and his rest of his family to try to get them. Of course, this doesn't go so well because they continue killing them. I mean, I understand why they're trying to kill the witnesses, but that's killing their profits.
Yeah, but if they escape and get out of there somehow or other and tell the authorities about it, they won't have a business anymore. They'll all go to jail.
True.
They might have to slow things down a bit and harvest some new skin.
Of course, they tried to they try to not take the trails because that would lead them straight to you-know-who. I mean, you-know-whos.
The naughty guys.
And, of course, sometimes they do this, but other times they just think, we'll just take the easiest trail, back to the entrance or exit to get away. Of course, some of them are stupid. They think, it's a survival of the fittest, we'll just go our separate ways, just like last time.
Yeah, and some of them got to the fence line and said, oh, beaut, it was electrified. And I don't mean like a little cattle prod, it was really electrified. And one of the girls became a crispy critter hanging onto the fence.
Yeah, true. Anyway, and one of the guys, there was only one guy in the group, he gets taken back, and he doesn't even, no one even bothers to help him in that scene when he got caught in a bear trap.
He had a bear trap or something in one of the pathways, and well, they couldn't get him out, so they had to leave him there, didn't they?
Yeah, it's not really a nice thing to do, and anyway,
I can't bear this.
Anyway, each one of the girls does get killed, and eventually we're left with Melanie and another girl who are trying to escape the maze. One of them gets to the fruit farm that's next door to the maze, but as it turns out, he
worked for them.
Yeah.
So he takes her into his little camper van type thing. He'll be okay.
We'll get
he
to
went
the hospital,
outside and he let him in to take her.
Yeah.
Bugger.
Anyway, I should mention that some of the guys the baddie guys, they do get killed. Their most mental problem brother, he ends up getting killed by one of the
the gentle one who's a bit softer.
He was gentle, soft, nice.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem like but I think he was the most.
Even though he was a bit simple
innocent.
And strange, he was probably the normalest one out of the whole lot of them.
Yeah. The other ones, they do get killed, a couple of them, and Gemma was able to fight and defeat Melanie, even though her father wants to kill her, but his daughter says, no, do not kill her. But eventually they ride back in the barn, and he's bent on killing her, and we get this horrible, funny argument between them that goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, Gemma and Herschel, daddy and daughter. Yeah.
But in the end, Melanie gets stabbed to death by the dad, and the other two, I should mention, the man and the other woman who get reabducted and taken back. They had their eyelids and their mouths shut. Eyes and mouths
closed permanently, and I think you break one of their ankles.
Yeah, he says now that they sewn their mouths and their eyelids shut, they need to get rid of the other thing that might prevent them from escaping, their ankles.
Yeah,
so they break their ankles. Or at least we see one of them.
One of them said, we're going to do this. So they did one, and the idea was they're going to do both of them, and both legs and both people. So yeah.
Yeah, now that they've probably done this, I imagine they're going to do that with the more of their other victims, so to prevent them from escaping.
That'd probably really hurt, that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's like trying to make him into a eunuch or something, rather. Get two house bricks there and clap them together, That'd really hurt guys, wouldn't it?
Anyway, then probably later on, he's actually talking to some Japanese businessmen, investment banker guys, and explaining the cream that they developed, and they're all for franchising the thing and all that stuff, and we ended there with the
sort of fade to black,
fade to black, and we are left to assume these people will continue profiting off the people who are victims of this cream.
Pretty good, hey? No, that's not a bad story. Anyway, it ends there.
Yeah,
so what's going to happen next? Who knows? Room for a sequel? Oh, possibly. Now, okay, what can we say about these two movies?
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting, and we've already so far reviewed two of the movies that deal with mazes, and this is my third one we're doing before we go off to Fright Nights very soon.
Yeah, we're going to a Halloween type thing at the local movie world on the Gold Coast.
I'm really excited about that. I mean,
I only like it because it does have a Halloween sort of feel to it with the mazes and the costumes and stuff. However, not strictly Halloween. And I'm nothing against the guys who made the movies. It's not my most favourite one where I can sit down there and watch it over and over again.
Yeah, this is not one of my strictest favourites.
It's not
either.
bad. Some of it's a little bit predictable.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah.
I thought the chats between the owner and his daughter and all of his other guys, they go on a bit, and even the conversations in the sequel where the final girl is talking with all the others about where they should go next.
Yeah.
It's so
what do you want to do? I don't know.
annoying.
What do you want to do? Hello, I don't know. What do you want to do? It's some parts that dragged on a little bit. They could have put something else in or shortened the movie a tad.
That's so annoying. I didn't like. I mean, every time they sat down and talked, we know that the bad guy is going to catch up anytime soon, and or even hear them because they were so noisy.
Making too much freaking noise. That's like saying, "Don't come over here. We're not here." No, well, hello.
And there was even a scene where the girls thought they should use one of their friends to climb on one of the people's shoulders in order to find the exit.
Yeah.
And we know deep down that the bad guy and one of his sons
were sitting on horses.
Yeah.
And their heads were above the foliage level, and as soon as she put her head up, he saw her and said, "I'll be right over."
You heard the song from Oklahoma about the whole the corn is as high as an elephant's eye, yada yada yada.
Whatever.
The lyric.
Well,
that's roughly.
I never heard that one.
Well, you know,
I'll take your word for it.
It's from Oklahoma. It's an old movie.
I know Oklahoma's an old movie. I think Shirley Jones was in it, or something like that. Very good movie.
Where one of the
Howard
lyrics.
Keel, maybe. Yeah.
Well, one of the lyrics is like he says something about how corn is high as an elephant's eye. It's an old lyric.
Considering the guys in the West had never seen an elephant.
Anyway, it matters not because. If you're on a horse and the corn is not too high, most likely that you'll be spotted.
Yes.
And I got to admit, all their plans and their non-stop chatter was boring me to death.
Yeah, it did drag a bit. I mean, look, I did like the theme of it. It was a bit of just another take. Why are they doing it? Well, they had a good reason for it. That sort of stuff. But yeah,
I am a little shocked that Melanie, who was the strongest in both movies,
died.
She gets killed, and no one is willing. Not one else is doing anything.
The final girl didn't even get away.
Yeah,
she lasted the longest.
Yeah, she was getting close to the freeway, and she could have gotten away and out of there, but unfortunately, she was outmatched by Gemma,
yeah.
As it turns out.
So
I would have thought she would have won, considering how strong she was and how smart she was.
They're two good movies to watch together, but I have seen better. How's that?
I agree.
But they're not bad. I mean, the filming's good. The acting's passable. Storyline's a little bit different, but some of it's predictable. But hey, yeah, it is what it is. A lot of the such movies, they are running out of ideas for, and so you can't blame the guys for writing the scripts. Okay,
it's hard in the sequel movie. I keep thinking, who are we rooting for? Are we rooting for the survivors because they're annoying, or are we
that's a good point.
Or are we rooting
kill them, yeah.
Or are we rooting for the villains?
Well, in this case, you might draw the line. See, they're just running a business like anybody else, trying to make a go of it,
Or maybe this is what the filmmaker and the writer was. I mean, seeing as he's writing, they're both writing and directing.
Yeah,
that was probably what he's implying, that whether we were probably supposed to root for the villains, catching them maybe, or even trying to. We have to figure out who we're rooting for in this movie.
Well, you look at talk about rooting for people who's siding. I mean, look at Hostel.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't like Hostel too much.
Either
movie. However, those American tourist guys, they're party animals, getting drunk and trying to get laid and everything. I'm glad they got killed. Honestly. So, so, I mean, they were just obnoxious. They deserve to get killed. And, they'll just stay at the top. So, and you think, well, when you pick a movie like this, well, who do you actually root for? Or take Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein with Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
Everybody, well, I think a lot of people would have felt sorry for the monster.
I agree.
He was created. He had no say in it. He was treated like a monster from the day he was born, and he was chased through he was abandoned by his father. He said, "I don't want you. I'm going to kill you. I'm trying to take you apart, terminate you." So he'd run away, and all the local villagers trying to kill him. All he wanted was to be accepted.
True.
And the little old blind man accepted him. The only one who accepted him. Everybody else hated him and shunned him and pushed him away. And you think, well, you feel sorry for the monster. Not the people chasing him.
Yeah, so in the sequel, I don't know who to root for in this movie, because it makes out that you ought to be rooting for the good guys, but I feel like they're not even worth rooting for, because you know deep down that they're how lazy, and their minds are I keep wondering, it's no surprise that some of these people got taken and being examined by these people.
Because they're stupid.
Yes, and how lazy and selfish they were. Because throughout the sequel, they acted like, I don't care about this person. I'm not going to help that person when they're. I mean, throughout the movie, the family they cared about each other.
Like, they did. See, family bond.
When one of the people who got killed, the father grieved over that.
His lost son. Yeah.
I mean, when his wife died, he was grieving over her. And
but actually, talk about losers. You know those slasher movies,
yes,
like the Halloweens and stuff and everything. We're going there. We're going to get drunk. We're going to do dope. Whatever. We're going to screw around and whatever. Well, they deserve to get killed. They're totally irresponsible and everything else. Yada yada yada. So what do you do? Yeah. Go on, Jason, kill them all, and all the other guys. Yeah.
Well, I'm not rooting for Jason, obviously.
I like Jason Voorhees. I don't like his mother. She's a bit of a goose. But Jason's okay.
Yeah, anyway, I do think he was a troubled person.
Well, if a mother like that, what do you expect?
But I gotta admit, when it comes to the masked villains of this movie, it kind of felt weird when they started talking in their normal voice. Like, I felt maybe there could be a silent killer in this production. Maybe it won't.
Silent killer.
Because I know that sounds a bit weird, but it would be cool if they were silent and not talkative. Because throughout this movie, I feel like we hear nothing but talk in this movie.
And that's another point too. Look, I'm not knocking the guys that made the movie.
Me neither.
But you don't have to always have someone talking, saying something, yelling, screaming. Ever heard of mood music for Atmos? All the good movies use a bit of Atmos music. Ain't that expensive to get someone to lay some down on a synthesizer or something or other. Yeah. Lay down a couple of tracks, a few bars, do a bit of overdubbing, and there you go. You got your music score for your film. Add a bit of suspense to it using no talking. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I see this movie. And it's throughout this movie in the sequel, it's all talking and discussing a plan, blah blah blah. And I feel like, who cares? Why don't you just shoot me in the head and let's just get on with it? I'm sorry. I mean,
do you remember in Demolition Man?
Yes.
And he's sitting in the car with Sandra Bullock, and
put me back in the fridge.
Put me back in the fridge. Because the world had gone to pot. I mean, so listen to what do you call it? Their pop songs listened on the radio were actually commercials.
Yeah, from the 1950s, 1960s.
And they're going, what the hell? Put me back in the fridge. I want to die. I don't want to be here. Yeah. So you always love that line.
When it comes to slasher killers, I like it when they're not talkative. I like it when they're silence, and they don't act all humanized on you. No. I mean, I don't want to see that. I want to see them quiet and like they add atmosphere to the room.
I have seen some really, really good movies, and I'm not taking away from America, but I think the Europeans can do it sometimes a lot better. They'll have someone walk into a room. They'll walk across the room. They'll pick something up. that look at it, that do something, that look out the window, that close up the face, POV shots. They're creating an atmos. No music, just good photography. No one's saying anything. I've got some movies there, no one says anything for several minutes, and the movie's still interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly.
You don't have to have someone constantly chattering, and it's not like a bird aviary.
No.
Yeah, and that's where the problem is. Someone's too much talking, too much dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, and this is mostly between the final girl and the rest of the group, or even with the villains of the story who just continue talking like I don't know. I don't care about what you do in the scene. We're not in an army picture. We don't need to have a gross out plan of what they're going to do.
We must do this. Go out there and do something. By the way, what's dinner? I don't care. Get out of there. No, you can't go for a toilet break. Put down the mobile phone. Yep, it's too much going on.
Yeah.
Too much going on. That's a problem in some movies. And this sort of gets in that category where a little bit too much useless dialogue, not enough atmosphere, suspense build-up.
Would
you say that?
I would definitely agree with you there, Mike. Anyway, should we rate both of these movies or just separately?
Well, I'm still going to be fair. I mean, I know what they're trying to do with it.
Me too, I do.
And even though I found it lacking in a few things here and there, a little bit too much dialogue, not enough suspense build-up, I'm still going to give it something like 7.5 to 8 because I can see what they're doing with a couple of tweaks could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I'd say about 7.5, I'd say, yeah.
I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 myself. I mean, I did think there was some... They just need to get rid of some of the stuff there. I just didn't... I mean, I know they're trying to pad it in, but there is padding and there's padding, if you get my meaning.
I got a lot of padding. No, sorry.
But you know what I mean, Mike. I mean, if there's padding to keep the audience interested.
But there's interesting padding and there's crappy padding.
Yeah, even up to the end, you have the people chat. I'm sorry, but I'm okay with a little chatter, like a little bit of a twist ending even. But when at the end of the second one, where the daughter and the father are bickering, and we keep wondering, this girl could have escaped any time throughout this scene.
She could have got, so I'm going for a leak. You finish your argument, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, and she could have picked up a scalpel and put it towards her neck if she had to.
No one was paying attention to her.
Yeah. There was they could have done so much in that scene. Maybe try to make out she untied herself, broke out of the chair,
and slipped out of her bondage and try to make a final dash for the door, and then get killed by Daddy or one of the sons or something or other, but not just laying there waiting to be stabbed.
I just think that there was so much they could have done in this scene.
Little things.
I mean, at least, just like when she tried to kill herself by stabbing herself in the throat.
She could have done a better job.
I think dear old Daddy Dearest did us all a favour by stabbing her, but unfortunately, it wasn't very dramatic enough. Yeah, it felt like the end of a final girl.
Yeah,
the end.
It's some parts were lacking. Still, basically, good fun movie to watch.
Yeah. I would have settled for her.
Wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, though.
I would have settled for her to set the whole barn on fire.
Well, that would have been good, kicking over some gasoline or something rather than set fire to the whole thing and take the whole family business down or something rather. That would have been great.
Cool.
Well, there you go. The family business shot the piece. What do we do now? Let's sell corn.
Yeah.
Well, it was a corn maze, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I would have loved it.
The corn. Hey.
Maybe. They're going to be I don't know if they're going to make a third movie. Who knows?
I heard a rumour they were thinking of making a third, but I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Good point.
Yeah.
I would have loved it if somehow they get a new final girl or a final guy, and that person does exactly what I suggest. Like, instead of we get a chase through the corn maze again, we get them to set fire to the actual barn. I would like to see
if they did with number 3, a sequel. And I'd like to see the kiddies or the public, whoever, but the victims actually win.
Yeah.
Whether they set fire to the thingies and kill off all the people, whatever, locked in a room, whatever.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've noticed another thing
Yeah.
about this movie, Mike, that I noticed in other slashes. In a lot of other slashes, you care about the final girl or the people who are with her. In both the movies, I didn't really care too much
Yeah, you
about
did, yeah.
Wendy or Brandon or Rusty, or even the people in the second one. I didn't care about those girls that got killed in this one either.
Yeah, you didn't sort of get that emotional tie to the characters. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
that's what I think. I mean, throughout slasher history, you often get the person you care about, and sometimes you weep for that person who gets killed.
yeah.
And
Even in a movie where the final girl type person goes a bit weird, like in Carrie, you know. Now she was killing people and stuff, but as of course people made her weird and everything. I felt for Carrie because she was treated like a piece of crap.
yeah, but maybe that
but,
was what was
yeah,
going on
yeah.
in the director's head. He wanted us to care about the villains instead of the good guys.
Yeah. Anyway, availability for these guys.
Yes, please.
Both are available on eBay and Amazon. You can rent it through Amazon as well. So, yeah. Look, I would suggest, if you don't want to buy it, rent it at least. Have a look. Renting it's not that expensive. Get both of them. It's because they do go hand in hand. Again, it's not going to be like a Jason or a Michael Myers or a Freddy Krueger, but it's still It's good. It's good fun. It's not the greatest, but it's a good watch. How's that?
I agree,
Yeah.
and I do agree, and I did like the twist ending, like leaving you wondering if the final girl survives or not. But I did thought the second one was pretty cool. I mean, how the first one, that she didn't cut all the way to in her throat.
Yeah, we thought she was going to die, but no.
No, she turns out she survived, and they were able to siphon some of her skin off to make some of her
That is creepy.
miracle skin cream.
And it works.
Oh yeah, well,
I might buy some of that. Now, you should see my eyes. They're baggy and puffy and horrible. You know, I wouldn't mind some of that.
I would like. I might check out the actual cool pumpkin patch thing. You know, see what it's like. You
Well,
know,
why don't
just
you put the link on the thing so that people can have a look themselves as well?
yeah. If I'll probably sure to put it in the description box, and
Yeah.
if I find it, you guys can check it out and let me know if it's worth checking out. If I ever come down to California,
And some people might know it. They might have actually been there and actually say, "Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a fun maze. We
Yeah.
might go through it one day if we get over to
into
the
California.
US of A."
Yeah, so that's about it for us tonight, guys. And let us know in the comments what you guys think of that movie, and let us know if there's any other Halloween horror mazes that you wish to review about.
If you got any ideas for Sarah and I to, especially Halloween at the moment.
Yeah, considering we're getting close to Halloween.
Yeah, we're
and
still Halloween month. Anything, you need to come back pretty quick because we're running out of month.
Yeah.
If there's anything we can do and right at the end of the month, we'll try to bung it in. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's about it for us, guys. So, thanks for listening to our latest podcast, everyone, and be sure to let us know in the comments what you guys think of either one of those movies, as per usual.
Or both.
Both. Anyway, thanks for listening to us. This is Sarah Stephenson.
And Model.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.